The thought of escaping the city had been quietly lingering between Thomas and me for months, an unspoken yearning we kept pushing aside. Life had become a noisy loop of meetings, traffic, and reheated takeout. Somewhere along the way, we'd lost track of time, and, in subtle ways, of each other. After 10 years of marriage, our love hadn't faded, but it had softened into something routine, quiet, familiar. So when I stumbled across a listing for a small cabin by the lake in Lakewood, Colorado, I booked it without hesitation. It wasn't luxurious, just a simple two-bedroom nestled in the woods with a lake view, but it promised calm, a pause, maybe even a spark of adventure. Thomas, ever the planner, hesitated at first, but when he saw how much I needed it, he packed without protest. We left early Friday morning, coffee in hand and a playlist humming through the car. As we drove under a wide blue sky, the tension began to melt. The further we got from the city, the more it felt like we could breathe again. By the time the pine trees of Lakewood came into view, it felt like we were arriving somewhere not just physically different, but emotionally too. The cabin was perfect. A wooden deck overlooked the lake, and inside, warm cedar walls wrapped around a cozy fireplace and a tiny kitchen with checkered curtains. It felt like stepping into a simpler world. That evening, after dinner and a glass of wine, we strolled down to the lake. The sky was ablaze with sunset hues, orange and purple blending into something too beautiful to ignore. That's when we saw another couple sitting by a fire pit in Adirondack chairs, laughter spilling between them. They noticed us and waved. "Hey there," the woman called. "Just get in?" "Yeah," I answered, walking closer. "We're staying up at Pine Hollow." "Same here," the man said, standing to greet us. He was tall, bearded, with kind eyes. "I'm Mason, and this is my wife, Lily." "I'm Rachel," I said, introducing Thomas. We exchanged handshakes and small talk, where we were from, how long we were staying, what we did for work. Mason and Lily were in their late 20s, recently married and living in Denver. Their energy reminded me of us a decade ago. "You two should come by later," Mason offered. "Just a little game night, cards, drinks, some music." I looked at Thomas. He smiled and shrugged. "Sure," I said. "Sounds fun." Later, wrapped in a shawl and carrying a bottle of wine, we walked down to their cabin. String lights lit the deck, and Lily greeted us barefoot, glasses of sangria in hand. Inside, the vibe was warm and easy. Jazzy music played as we settled in, and soon we were laughing like old friends. The girls crushed trivia, Mason made a hilarious attempt at charades, and Thomas laughed so hard he nearly fell out of his chair. I couldn't stop smiling. I hadn't seen him that relaxed in years. Eventually, the conversation turned deeper. We spoke about how love evolves. Thomas admitted he sometimes felt like we'd become roommates rather than partners. His words were gentle, not accusing, and I nodded, feeling the same but never brave enough to say it. Mason and Lily listened without judgment. Lily shared their own fear of growing too comfortable too soon. "We made a pact," she said, "to say yes more, even when it feels awkward." Thomas glanced at me and something shifted in his eyes. A quiet awakening. Mason then brought out a karaoke machine. "It's tradition," he grinned. "No judging until you try it." Thomas went first with a cheesy 80s rock song, giving it his all. I followed with a guilty pleasure pop ballad, belting it out with dramatic flair. Mason sang a tone-deaf country song, and Lily surprised us all with a killer rap verse. It was ridiculous and perfect. In that moment, we weren't just two couples hanging out. We were four people rediscovering joy, vulnerability, and freedom from expectations. As the night cooled, we moved indoors. Mason lit a fire, and we curled up with cocoa and blankets. Lily brought out a deck of deep conversation cards. One question asked, "What's something you've always wanted to do but haven't?" Thomas said photography. I admitted to dreaming of writing a novel. Mason spoke of building a tiny home and living off-grid. Lily dreamed of owning a cozy bookstore cafe with mismatched chairs and walls covered in handwritten letters. We took turns answering, peeling back layers we rarely exposed. It felt light and freeing, like finally letting go of something we didn't know we were carrying. By 3 a.m., We realized the time. Mason stretched and smiled. That was one of the best nights we've had in a long time, Lily nodded. You two are incredible. Likewise, I replied, and meant it. As we walked back through the trees, hand in hand, I felt a quiet joy, not loud or wild, but steady and warm, the kind that reminds you you're still capable of new feelings, even after all this time. In bed, we lay in silence, listening to the forest.